Welcome to our Bedtime Stories channel. Tonight's story will take you on a gentle journey into sweet dreams.
The Cloud Painter of Willow Town, a gentle story about a child who paints the evening clouds so the whole town can fall asleep in peace. In Willow Town, where the river curled like a lazy cat, lived a quiet child named Leo. Every evening, when the sky turned soft and blue, Leo climbed the small hill behind the house and watched the clouds drift by. Some nights the clouds were thin like silk, other nights they were thick like pillows. Leo would wave hello to each one, as if they were old friends passing on a gentle boat. One cool night, a tiny streak of silver light slipped across the sky and paused above the hill. It was not a star, and not a firefly. It was a brush, a paintbrush, no bigger than Leo's little finger, floating in the air. Its handle was warm, and its bristles shone with a glow like moon milk. Leo reached out, and the brush rested in the palm, light as a feather. A soft voice, no louder than a whisper in a seashell, spoke, "Paint the sky, little one. The clouds have lost their colors for the night. Dreams need gentle shades to find the way to sleeping hearts." Leo looked up. The clouds were pale, almost shy. Holding the brush, Leo made a slow, careful stroke across the sky. A band of calm lavender bloomed, quiet as a sigh. Leo painted again, a wash of peach like warm tea, a hint of silver like morning frost, and a tiny blush of rose like the inside of a shell. The brush hummed, pleased. The colors drifted across the town. Windows glowed softer. Steps on the street slowed. The river yawned and settled into an easy curve. Leo felt a warm hush wrap around the shoulders like a light blanket. When the last streak of color was set, the little brush spun in a small happy circle. "You have a good hand," the whisper said. "Clouds listen to careful hearts. Keep the brush. Use it only at dusk. Paint simple colors. Leave room for stars. Leo nodded. The night deepened. Somewhere a dog turned twice and slept. A moth tapped the window and then drifted away. Leo walked home with the brush tucked safe in a pocket, and the moon watched with a kind, round eye. In bed, Leo held the brush and listened to the soft night sounds. The tick of the old clock, the hush of curtains breathing, the sleepy murmur of the river far away. The brush was warm, like a small hand. Leo whispered, "Thank you." The brush did not answer, but it glowed once, like a wink, and then grew still. Before sleep, Leo wondered who had painted the clouds before. Perhaps a heron with silver wings, or a fox with a tail full of dawn. Perhaps the sky shared the work with anyone who promised to be gentle. Leo promised. Then the promise folded into a dream, and the dream carried Leo across a sea of blue toward another evening to come. The next evening, dusk arrived on soft feet. Leo climbed the hill with the little brush tucked into a pocket. The sky waited like a calm pond. No one else was there, only the tall grass whispering and the far bell of a cow. Leo took a deep breath. The air tasted like clean rain. "Hello," said a voice that felt like a breeze on the cheek. Leo turned and saw nothing at first, only the long grass leaning one way, then the other. "I am Soft Step," said the voice. "I am the wind that carries the colors when you paint. I have small hands that do not show. May I help?" Leo smiled. "Yes, please." The brush warmed, ready to work. Together they looked at the sky, wide and waiting. "What colors tonight?" asked Soft Step. Leo thought of tired feet and heavy school bags, of the baker dusted in flour, of the nurse walking home with slow steps. "Gentle blues," said Leo, "and a light gold, so dreams can find the door." Leo lifted the brush. A soft blue line slid across the high clouds, then a second, then a third, each one thinner than the last. Soft Step gathered the lines and stretched them smooth, like a sheet on a quiet bed. Then came a tender gold, a hush of pale honey along the edges, and a breath of mint green to cool the day's last heat. Street by street, Willowtown settled. A cat washed its paws and curled into a ring. A window closed with a kind click. The river gave back the sky in a peaceful mirror. Leo felt the town relax, as if someone had loosened a tight ribbon around a gift. Paint one more thing, Soft Step said. Something small for those who wake in the night, Leo thought. A tiny silver path, like a trail of safe light, just wide enough for little steps. The brush answered with a gentle shine. Across the sky, dots of silver appeared, close as hand to hand, leading from the moon to every roof in town. If a child wakes, Soft Step whispered, the path will guide the heart back to rest. Leo nodded. The brush spun once, happy again, and grew still. Thank you, Leo said to the wind. Soft Step made the grass bow, and then was gone. Leo walked home in the deepening blue. The porch light was a small sun. Warm soup waited, and the chair by the window. Leo touched the brush and felt its quiet thrum. Tomorrow, thought Leo, we will learn a new shade that feels like a hug. That night, rain began in tiny taps, like fingers on a drum. Leo listened and did not worry. The colors were safe. Rain does not wash away care. It only softens it. With eyes half closed, Leo pictured the silver path above each roof, and the moon keeping watch like a kind teacher at the door. Sleep came quietly, as a leaf settles on still water. On the third evening, the sky looked a little worried. Clouds gathered in slow groups, bumping softly like sheep in a gate. Leo stood on the hill and felt the air press close, warm and heavy. The brush in Leo's hand turned cool, as if to say, be calm, we can help. Soft Step arrived with a rustle and a bow. A storm is coming, the wind said, but it can be a kind one if we guide it. People can sleep through rain, but not through fear. Let us paint room for courage and space for quiet. Leo set the first stroke low on the clouds. A deep blue that felt steady, like holding someone's hand. Over it, a slow band of gray, soft and even, like the inside of a dove's wing. The brush hummed and Soft Step smoothed the edges, round and gentle. Thunder in the distance tried to clear its throat. Leo paused, then painted a soft purple along the horizon, the color of a lullaby sung low. The first raindrops fell, spaced like slow breathing. Roofs ticked, trees sighed. The river rolled over its stones with a deeper sound, not loud, only strong. Leo added thin threads of warm gold between the clouds, like tiny lanterns hung in a hallway, so no one would feel alone walking from waking to sleep. A tall gray bird landed nearby and folded long wings. The heron's eye was bright and calm. You paint with care, said the bird. My grandmother once carried a brush like yours along the marsh. She taught me how to stand very still so the sky could rest its weight on my back. Stillness is a color too, if you let it be. Leo listened. How do I paint stillness? The heron's beak made a tiny smile, with slower strokes, with more air between them. Trust the white spaces to do their part. Leo tried. Long, slow strokes across the top of the clouds, leaving room, leaving quiet. The sky seemed to exhale. The thunder, feeling seen, rumbled politely and drifted farther away. Rain fell steady as a song you know by heart. Thank you, Leo told the heron. The bird bowed and lifted into the gray blue. Soft Step touched Leo's shoulder like a friend. You are learning what to leave as much as what to add, the wind said. That is the tender craft. When the storm had found its gentle pace, Leo headed home through a path of wet grass that brushed. The ankles then smelled like clean earth. Shoes by the door, a towel, a mug of warm milk. The night wrote its own quiet sentence, and sleep read it out loud until the house was still. Upstairs, the brush lay on the table and glowed the faintest blue, as if it were breathing. Leo watched it and smiled. Even tools can rest. Leo thought. And that thought itself felt like a soft blanket tucked under the chin. Morning passed with school and small chores. And when evening came, Leo climbed the hill again. As the sun slipped down, a soft worry tugged at Leo's sleeve. It came from a house near the bakery, where a little girl named Mara often waved from her window. Tonight, her window stayed dim. Soft step drifted close. I feel it too, the wind said. Mara's mother works late at the clinic, and Mara misses her. Can we paint a comfort strong enough to hold her until morning? Leo nodded. The brush warmed, ready. First, a base of gentle blue, smooth as a lake with no ripples. Then a pale ribbon of peach, like hands held across the table. Leo paused. What do you love, Mara? Leo asked the air. At once, a picture came. A red kite Mara flew in the spring, dancing above the field like a happy bird. Leo lifted the brush and drew a kite of soft red at the edge of the dusk. Not bright, only clear. A thread of silver held it, trailing down in a sleepy curve to the roof of Mara's home. Soft step wrapped the thread with a whisper so it would not tangle. Around the kite, Leo painted pockets of quiet, little ovals of warm gray where worries could sit and grow smaller, not larger. In each pocket, Leo placed a tiny pearl of light, like a night light in a hallway. The heron's lesson returned. Leave room for stillness. Leo left sky between the strokes, trusting it to do its good work. In her small room, Mara lifted the curtain. She saw the soft red shape, the kind thread, the pearly dots that looked like sleepy fireflies. Her shoulders eased. She pressed her cheek to the cool glass and breathed with the rain-dark trees. The kite did not pull, it simply stayed. She watched it until her eyes grew warm and heavy. Across Willow Town, others felt the gentleness too. The baker sat at last and let flour fall from tired hands. The nurse locked the clinic door and looked up. The clouds were like folded quilts in a quiet house by the river. An old man counted 7 slow breaths and smiled for the first time that day. Leo, said Soft Step, you are steady. That steadiness is a gift. Leo's cheeks warmed. Thank you, wind, Leo said. The brush calmed, as if it had finished humming a song. Leo walked home through lantern light and cricket song. At the door, Leo glanced back and saw the red kite rest above Mara's roof like a small kind guard. It would hold the night the way hands hold a promise, not tight, not loose, only right. When Leo finally slept, the dream of a wide field came anyway. Light on the feet and open as morning. The kite drifted just ahead, waiting without hurry, and the night felt safe and whole. There came an evening when Leo did not feel bright. A small ache sat behind the ribs, not sharp, just there, like a stone you carry in your pocket without meaning to. The sky waited, but the brush felt cool and quiet. Soft Step arrived and then paused, as if listening. You do not have to be strong every night, the wind said gently. Colors come from feelings, and feelings change like tides. We can still help the town, but we will do it in a softer way. Paint with your breath, not your hurry. Leo closed the eyes and counted for slow breaths in, for slow breaths out. With each breath, the brush warmed a little. Leo lifted it and made a simple stroke, a soft gray blue, like the inside of a seashell. Another breath, another stroke, a faint rose, like cheeks after a kind word. The colors were pale, but honest. Soft Steps spread them wide with careful hands. Windows opened across Willow Town. Someone set a cup of tea on a sill for a tired friend. Someone lit a small candle near a photo and smiled. On the river path, 2 neighbors walked without speaking. Steps in rhythm, comfort in the simple sound. The town, it seemed, knew how to hold itself when needed. A low sound rose from the far street by the bridge. The old man who counted 7 breaths was humming, a tune as steady as rain on leaves. Leo listened and felt the ache become rounder, less sharp. The brush hummed back, a little out of tune, and that was fine. Even not perfect can be kind. The heron returned, quiet as a shadow. Some nights, the bird said, the sky paints you. Let it stand and be the canvas. Leo stood still. Wind moved through hair. Night air cooled warm skin. A leaf brushed Leo's arm and stayed for a heartbeat, then let go. The ache softened like clay underwater. Paint one more thing, Soft Step whispered. Not color this time. Space. Leo nodded and drew a long, almost invisible line across the high clouds. A line made of rest. The town felt it and yawned together. A sweet, sleepy wave that rolled from door to door. Leo smiled, small but true. Thank you, wind. Thank you, sky. The brush glowed once, as if bowing, and quiet settled. Leo walked home, light enough now to notice the way moth wings are like tiny fans, and how the porch step makes a kind sound when you know it well. In bed, Leo placed the brush on the windowsill so it could watch the clouds it had touched. The moon rose late, shy and round, and laid a silver square on the floorboards. Leo's last thought before sleep was simple and soft. Even a small light can show the way across a room. The next day, a note appeared by the door, written in neat round letters. To the one who paints the evening, it said, "Thank you. Bread is on the step." The loaf smelled of warm butter and thyme. Leo smiled and cut a small slice, saving the rest to share. At dusk, the hill welcomed Leo like a friend who kept a seat open. The sky was clear, the kind of clear you can lean on. Soft Step arrived, playful now, twirling a leaf like a tiny wheel. "Tonight," said the wind, "the town is already halfway to sleep. Let us give them a story in the sky to carry them the rest of the way." Leo raised the brush. First, a calm blue for every busy thought to sit upon. Then a path of pale gold that bent like a river toward the moon. Along the path, Leo painted small shapes that told a gentle tale. A boat no bigger than a thumb. A cup of tea that never spills. A door that opens to a garden where crickets write slow songs. The heron circled once, then settled on the fence post like a feathered statue. Soft Step hummed in a friendly way. Leo added one last shape, a tiny house with its window lit, tucked near the moon's round edge. "Home," the sky whispered, "is the place your breath gets to be long." As the story spread, Willowtown exhaled. Mara's window brightened, then dimmed. The nurse hung her coat and felt the weight slide away. The old man on the river path counted to 7 and then to 7 again. Because he could. Somewhere, a baby turned on a quiet sigh and went on sleeping. The brush grew warm, then warmer, and for a moment Leo thought it might rise away. Instead, it softened and became lighter than light. "Keep it," said the whisper that came from everywhere at once. But know this, the sky would still be kind even without the brush. The colors live in you now. Leo looked at the town, at the river's soft curve, at the tiny lit window by the moon. "Thank you," Leo said to all of it, to wind and bird and cloud. "Thank you for letting me help." On the way home, the path felt like a song with no sharp edges. Leo carried the loaf, and the night carried Leo in bed, with the brush safe on the sill. Leo listened to Willowtown breathing, slow and easy. Sleep came like evening tide, full and gentle. And the clouds, softly painted, sailed on toward morning, where new days learned to begin with quiet hearts. So the evenings rolled on. Some nights needed only blue enough to rest the eyes. Some asked for nothing, and Leo learned that nothing can be a gift too. The clouds waited, the town breathed, and the little brush glowed on the sill, ready for dusk.